Well, in the Radar project, we're looking at the link between public administration reforms and the democratic legitimacy of political and administrative systems.
How do civil servants react to this trend? Do they have a role to play in promoting democracy? And if so, how? And that's why we conceived of this project.
We study Anchorage conceptually and try to make sense of Anchorage as a positive concept, but also the opposite. What happens if things are de-anchored? One of our main contributions is to conceptualize this Anchorage as a mechanism of political legitimacy.
In our work package 2, we look at the linkage between democracy and public sector innovation projects. And we do so by creating a database that looks at the Democratic Anchorage of Public Sector Innovation Awards. So what we did is we collected 1,700 cases of public sector awards covering all European countries and a time span of over 25 years. And we coded them looking at their democratic anchorage. So is there a component of democracy and democratic anchorage in the justification of how these awards are given? And what we find is, yes, that there is some level of democratic justification in the selection of the public sector awards. However, democracy is not a key, consistent and core feature of the award projects.
What we want to do in the project is first to find out more about how does it matter what public administrations do? How do their activities affect whether citizens trust government, trust public institutions, and what can they do to increase the democratic legitimacy of institutions, and what can they do to improve that? So we've done large-scale research to look at this relationship between what public administrations do and democratic legitimacy.
The question is, how can we do that through the reforms in public administration? How can we kind of increase, for example, democratic values like inclusiveness or representation, participation? And this is basically also what we're doing in Work Package 4. There we have this focus on participation initiatives, and we are interested in what do participation initiatives actually need in order to be fully or better implemented in ministries. So we're doing 9 case studies across Europe, interviews, a vignette study, also focus groups, where we want to analyze what are the factors that play a role in these organization embeddedness of participation initiatives. So administrative culture, structures, leadership.
I'm talking now on behalf of Work Package 3. This work package deals with how governments narrate actually reform. How do they want to be perceived by citizens, if they want to be focusing on participation or maybe efficiency, the delivery of the public services. And we're trying to see if there is a connection in this type of talk, in this type of discourse, and democratic anchorage of this discourse. So we're very much interested in learning how governments present themselves to the citizens. And on the other hand, we have a tool for researchers that is portable, so they could use these instruments in analyzing patterns of reform discourses in their own respective territory, community, and so on.
Focusing on a question and leading a work package in their other project on policy experimentation. So experimentation has become one of those modern buzzwords, but we don't necessarily know that well how this is being governed in different countries. And it seems so that actually the citizen perception on whether the experimentation is good or bad, or whether this is actually a legitimate way of doing public policy making and implementation and running public administrations, it's not that clear. And so what we try to understand is first how policy experimentation is being governed in 10 different countries, and then try to use these insights to run various focus groups with citizens and try to really establish kind of a new knowledge base on to what extent experimentation is being perceived as legitimate among citizens and to what extent it actually helps to then bridge those legitimacy gaps that there might exist.
In our work package within the Radar project, we look at representative bureaucracy. Basically, we look at, does bureaucracy represent the people it serves? So, and in what ways can we make sure that this is actually the case? So what we are doing, we are measuring to what extent people involved in innovation are actually representative of wider population or not, and whether that has any implications on the daily work of such organizations.
How do we make sure that this has any effect in practice? One of our major strategies is to include this in training. The insights we get from the research will be included in the training. We have several training schools and universities in our project, and they will include this in their courses to pass this on.
Work Package 7 is about dissemination, communication, and exploitation of the research outputs from the Radar project. And the idea of the Work Package 7 is to translate the research outputs from the other work package from Radar into training materials that could be offered and delivered to civil servants all over Europe, so they can incorporate the democratic anchorage levers in their day-to-day actions.